Xbox that has done released earnings. Our final one so far for all the names that we've covered. Hopefully you guys like some of the new additions to the stream. Light in the back, our nice little widget up there. Replacing our old Spotify little thing. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing Bili Bili. Some of you guys that are new to the stream and to the channel will not have known Bili Bili. But for those of you that aren't new, some of you guys know, as always, you guys can find all the names that we cover here in our Atom Finance Hub that I will post here in the chat, and of course always in the description of the YouTube video. And to go a little bit of background on Bili Bili for those of you that don't know it, Bili Bili is essentially Twitch, YouTube, and Hulu all rolled up into one on in China. So they do individual content creators can go and upload their content there, as well as you can go and watch animated series. They are primarily focused on kind of anime, some movies, like they do the Harry Potter series that's all dubbed in Chinese over there. So a lot of different content, and they split the revenue in 3 different forms. Well, actually 4 different forms. That is mobile games, so they're a big mobile game developer, like a lot of companies over in China and over in Asia are, like a C Global as well, or Tencent. So they derive most of the revenue through mobile games. They also do live broadcasting. That's why I said the whole kind of Twitch form factor, advertising revenue, and e-commerce revenue, which used to be, it's kind of e-commerce and other. They kind of changed that over the past, I want to say about a year ago they changed that. Now, Bili Bili is a weird company because it is located in China, and a lot of Chinese disclosures are kind of funky. But Bili Bili in particular, because you get their financials from their 10Qs and their earnings announcements. But they rely a lot on their investor presentation to go and give you those little tidbits. Like actually, their kind of COGS breakdowns are in the statement, but they're not fully accurate to, if I could just do Q2 here. We see that it's a little bit short of what the actual COGS were. They give you the percentages, but you got to go and actually put in the hard code COGS number to get the right COGS and to go and get all that forming straight. It's a little bit weird, and they like to pick and choose metrics to add and drop. So I always like to go and do the investor presentations though, because they also tend to delete them after a quarter. So you can't, there isn't a whole big backlog unless you go on to like Seeking Alpha. So you got to really save them yourself, and so to further look back for, because they do drop some interesting tidbits of data. And with all that said and done, I say we just start climbing in here. And if you guys have any questions along the way, you guys can of course drop them here in the chat if you're joining me live on Twitch, or any comments and stuff like that. Please leave them in the comments in the YouTube section. I'm just looking over my preview screen to make sure it's all good. So, this season, yep. Ooh. Total MAUs stayed flat quarter over quarter. That's surprising. That's actually really surprising. I don't know why that was like that, but wow, flat MAUs. I'm honestly shocked. This is like the first quarter that I don't think they've grown them sequentially. Except Q4 in 2017. That's appalling to me, that given lockdown and all that stuff like that they would have that little growth, or it'd just be flat. That makes me a little bit more confident there in my 2020 number. Mobile MAUs, which is something that they just started releasing a little bit ago, at 153. That's down as well. Still about that kind of 90-ish level of in terms of Okay, there my widget did it. In terms of percentage of mobile penetration, MPUs at 12.9. Wow, so that's mobile paying users, or monthly paying users, down sequentially as well. Up still dramatically from a year ago, but down sequentially. Smaller percentage of our total MPUs or MAUs. Official members, that's on a different time. That's lower there in the presentation. Time spent, 79 minutes. So time spent has been declining. Oof. I know the stock reaction from earnings that came last week was kind of up and down. And I can see why now. It's kind of all over the place a little bit here. DAUs. I don't think I have DAUs on here. No, I do not. Is that a new metric? That feels new metric-y to me then. Alright, that's just the first slide, by the way. So MAUs, yes, stayed flat. Revenue, we don't care about that right now. 5G adoption, this has stayed the same from last quarter, because on my little thing over here we have the 5G adoption, the online video users, and they still are doing March, so they haven't updated that. The Gen Z stuff, they always put it on there and I always ignore it. This is one of the better things I've started keeping track of. So, talented content creators. Which I want to go and say I had on here. Oh yeah, average content creators. Here we go. So 1.9 mil. And Q2 was 0.9. So... can't do year-over-year growth there. Can do all that growth rates over here though. So good growth there. And high quality content creation, so monthly video submissions at 6 million. That's kind of huge. Up from 2.4. So wow, yeah. Huge year-over-year growth then. Okay, that is our premium members, which we already... Wait a second here. Oh, we did not do that yet. Live broadcast premium users decreased quarter-over-quarter, but increased year-over-year. Official members at 89, that's at least a highlight. Because official members, for these guys, you gotta go and take like a 70 question multiple choice quiz. It's kind of like becoming a mod on Twitch, right? You gotta know the subjects, you gotta know the rules and all that stuff like that. So it's really actually kind of difficult to become an official user. Like I said, you gotta go and pass the 70 question test and all that stuff like that. So that's kind of huge that they went and moved that up by about 7 million users year over year. I mean, Q over Q at about no, excuse me, 65% year over year, and still averaging about 80% retention rate, yeah, and as per percent of MAUs about 50%. So, because they're typically the highest engaged users as well. Okay, is there any other things that we can gain from here? MPU to MAU, I calculate that myself, and that is correct. Impressive growth of paying users, we did that already. Cost of revs and OpEx. This is where the only time that they give you the direct kind of breakdown here for percentages. So I'm going to put those there on my quarterlies. Cost of rev. So rev sharing at 39. 14 for our content cost. Server bandwidth. Actually, it's been hovering about the same. 13 for ecom. Then OpEx. I'm going to do as a percent of GP, so that doesn't matter. But you can go and see here what I meant by, they give you some clues here every once in a while, especially on the MAU side and all that stuff. Having the premium broadcast users is huge. Because eventually, well, I guess now we could also start doing premium ARPU, but they don't disclose what the premium revenue of the paying users is. So we'll go right into our quarterly statements. I haven't done this yet because that's linked to the quarterlies and it just divides it by 1,000 because it's all in renminbi. So I'm gonna have to go and do an RMB reference at the end to go and get our price target in US dollars. So there's our June quarter. Mobile games took a hit. Whoa. This is just a significant hit overall. I'm gonna have to go back and read the quarter to go and really read the transcript and all that to go and really understand this because I haven't read anything. This is a huge drop down in rev growth. Huge. Although it is about the same in terms of last year's quarter. In fact, I was looking at the wrong thing. That's why it was the exact same as last year's quarter. Okay. I was like, that's too big of a drop. What's going on here? 977. Yeah, this is more like the growth trajectory that I was thinking of. Yeah, that looks more like it. That looks more like it, guys. COGS. Oh. Let's go and enter that in. Much higher gross margins. So they've been improving that recently, which is nice. Finally getting a handle on some of these costs because they've never broken even on EBIT. So to at least see gross margins picking up at least 2 bips quarter over quarter is nice. They still are frankly in that kind of startup mode, and it kind of pains me to go and see. But they're trying to get market share above everything else, which I can understand. But still, once this thing becomes EBIT positive, it's a game changer, as it is for most small companies, small caps. Especially here in the US and in the media space like Bili Bili is. Once you get like EBIT positive, that's really where you start seeing a lot of your gains start to occur, and you start to get a lot more attention from bigger institutional firms as well. Because it looks less risky when you can actually generate something, and it takes a lot less creativity to look at a company that's EBIT positive, because you can actually do a decent enough DCF on it. Skip song. I don't like that. The one bad part about my little widget up there is it does take a little bit longer to refresh. It's not just a screen grab from Spotify. Okay, there we go. I was way ahead of myself there. Nothing gives me more joy than seeing all the diluted shares for Bili Bili. Ooh. I just realized how much I goofed on the last quarter. Alright, balance sheet time, guys. I should eventually redo this and add an SBC. I should eventually redo this model to add an SBC. I know that, but once again, guys, I'll add in our Atom Finance Hub in case you guys missed it from earlier. And put that here in the chat. And as always, it will be down in the description of the video on YouTube. Because that does contain all of our names that we have done here on the channel. So you can go and keep track of them. Some of them have been model builds, some of them have been just earnings updates like this one. Huge swing in time deposits, which I like to see. Bili Bili has always been a pretty strong balance sheet company despite how small they are. So Money Boss, dude, what's good? What are the odds that Bili Bili's a fraud? Dude, I've thought about that a lot. From everything that I've seen, not huge, but China stocks are always weird, you know. They have complex structures. When I did my Tuan at my previous firm, the amount of just redacted stuff, and like whenever you see for Chinese firms the ownership structure, it looks worse than like Liberty Media. Like, it's so complex. There's so many branching trees. I don't think that they are, though. They have a decent amount of licensing agreements, and when a name like Tencent owns about 10% of this guy. Yeah, but that's like all Chinese names, right? I mean, Tencent owns 10% of these guys, and Tencent is damn near, you know, the most trustworthy name in kind of Chinese tech that you can go and buy, or that you could at least trust. So if Tencent has a stake in them, it kind of gives you that little amount of trust. I mean, Sony has a distribution deal with them. Warner Brothers has a distribution deal with them. There's a number of different high-end media companies that have enough faith in them at least to go and extend that deal. At least the content sharing. I mean, you could go and say, okay, they don't really care because as long as the check clears, they'll go and loan their content out to anyone. But it doesn't seem like it. And I remember one of the great edges that you have in being still in college was I talked to some of my friends that were international students that lived in China, and I mentioned Bili Bili, and they would light up and be like, oh, I love that. I love them. So I did my little boots on the ground research there. Can't do that anymore, but they're just a struggling company too. Just the lack of EBIT positive is terrible. I mean, there's also other names that I follow that are not EBIT positive. So, but yeah, you're right. There's always that risk of China fraud and also like that. But to defend against that, IRR DCF. My base rate, I have it at 12% as opposed to like a standard 10%, because of the ADR risk. So I add in 2 percentage points more for my WAC discount rate to do that. I mean, I could add in more. I like to go and add in, especially like you said, the China risk and all stuff like that, just to bump it up, because you do need some of that added protection just in case. But I mean, you could whack this up to 15% if you want to. In fact, I wonder what that would be. And it's still about where it's at right now, so. That's where having an IRR DCF really helps you versus just a standard WAC DCF, because you can't account for some of those things. Yeah. A lot more long-term debt. I would imagine that's why they have so much more cash on hand too. So in looking at the 9 bill in debt versus the oh, that's right. They took out some debt. But still, they could pay it down if they want to. If their hands were tied behind their backs, probably went to the capital markets to ensure some liquidity. Although if we go by Money Boss's thesis, that could be a sign of fraud right there. I have not looked into the Unity S1. They're on my list of ones to go and look at. The biggest one that I want to go and look at is, of course, because we've done Match.com here on the channel. Let me go and fix this widget. Because we've done Match.com on the channel, the Bumble S1 is coming out here pretty soon, and I'm excited to go and read that one. Mainly because, not because they're anymore their direct competitor to Tinder, but Bumble is now the direct competitor to Hinge. So whatever numbers you can go and see for Bumble, you can now go and give a lot more validity to for Hinge, because you now have that direct kind of more serious dating app, I would go and say. So I'm excited to go and see that, to go and read that S1 whenever it drops. They said next year, but if I were Blackstone, I'd start really putting it out there now. I'm missing a decent amount of stuff. Because I missed that. 628. 100 thou. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Okay. They have to. If they're gonna have to go in for the Bumble, if they want to go in, really go into the capital markets and really raise a lot of money, especially with all the monetization that Tinder's done and Hinge is now doing, they have to go and do some monetization, or else, because their biggest comp is, of course, going to be Match.com, and you could just look at Tinder as its own business within Match and make the exact same comparison to Bumble or Hinge for that matter, and if Bumble can't monetize, their evaluation is just going to get demolished. I honestly think that that's more Blackstone than anything else doing that, pulling those strings. Alright guys, we no longer need our earnings release. we can go and finish up our rev build. Just like check. Yep. So all this here, what all this does is it borrows from the quarterly revenue statements and it just divides it by 100. I mean 1,000. Okay. Rev per MAU is up, which is nice. Up higher than, up decently from last year, geez. Is it on track? I mean, it's starting to get on track to where we need to be for our end of year. Now we can also go to our chart data and fill in all this and update all of our charts. Speaking of updating all of our charts, because we need to make another column for Q3. Wait a second, was I smart? I was smart. Every once in a while here, guys, I use my brain and I come up with some good stuff. So yeah, will they be able to go and get 28 million more subs by the end of the year? I mean, it's possible. They ended up last year at 93 and ended at 130. The fact that they haven't grown top line subs in a quarter is worrying, though. I gotta go and say. I want to give it another quarter just in case. Just because official members has been growing. Paying users grew decently, so there's obviously something going on. I don't know if it's because of COVID or what, but it's, I don't know, there's some wackiness here that I don't know, I need another quarter to go and really change my adjustments, or change my estimates, I should go and say. It's starting not to look good though. Rate of change is definitely starting to shift. I don't have a position. I had a position in before earnings and took it off. I'm kind of glad I did that though. I do think if I recall, it is at a new 52-week high, but let's look at the charts. Some of these did not update. These did. Did these? These guys did not, that's for sure. Yeah. Yes. Oh, because I don't have it as a, I don't have any estimates for these guys. That's why they didn't update automatically. What the hell is going on down here? Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. This one, I don't know why it didn't update. Oh, because I didn't drag the formula over. Because it was my error there. There we go. Still, rev growth is still higher than what our estimates are. MP over MAU still higher than what I estimated. Than what our estimates are. MPUs are. Let me zoom in for you guys. MPUs still got a gap to reach. Total MAUs, I mean, in terms of growth, about there. Rev, about there. Total MAUs, there's still a gap to go and fill, especially here on total rev over MAU. I think another quarter worth of data, then I'd go and adjust. One less chart to go and update. Then I gotta update price, that's for sure. Wait on this one. Cancel. Okay, so there's all of our new charts. Like I said, the only one that's really bothering me is this one. So right on pace here in terms of year-over-year change. So growth rates. We're still below on MP over MAUs. Total MPUs, there's a gap. Won't deny that. But Q3 could be knockout. I don't know. It's always, whenever it comes to a company with subscribers, especially like a fast-growing media company or social media company, it's always tough to go and really nail down subscribers. But they're still growing rev faster than we thought. Just MAU growth on the top line especially is really starting to concern me. And total mobile MAUs decreasing here. Quarter over quarter is kind of concerning as well. I don't know. I may have to do some more digging and totally get my head around it, but it's the first kind of quarter from Bili Bili that I've seen. I've been tracking this company since they went public in the spring of 2018. It's the first quarter where I've kind of sat there and be like, huh, it doesn't look all that good. Normally it's a big blowout quarter. So, if I had a position, and let's go and update price, and the yuan reference, of course. What's it? What? No, shit. I'm trying to think of koi charts for currencies. For the yuan. Oh boy, that's gonna affect us. Oh, okay, that's why. The yuan at, I just had it. Let's just copy that. Wait, Control Z. So, oh no, we actually got a little bit more potential because since the dollar weakened significantly. To go onto our little atom, Finance Hub, which is of course in the chat and will be in the description of the YouTube video. Bili Bili now at 50.88. It was 32.30. So our combined price target has it at 44.75. Are the only price target that's ahead of the 50.88 is our IRR DCF. And I kind of agree with this right now, especially with me being as cautious as I kind of am based off of this ending quarter, me kind of questioning whether or not rate of change seems to be shifting to the downside. Has me kind of being on pause. So if I were to have a position in this, if I did have a position in this, like just a long stock position, I would be at a hold and probably selling covered calls against my position. If I wouldn't be short at this point. I mean, that's such a huge momentum stock too. But has me cautious. If I were long, I'd be hedging. And if I were just flat out long, I'd hold. I wouldn't buy on any dips. I'd sell on the rips. Sell on the rips and sell calls against positions where I would be at for this one. It's just I don't feel confident enough. Kind of, it's one of those. I do need another quarter of data to really, make me think whether or not rate of change is truly shifting to the downside or not. And for momentum names like this, rate of change really does matter. So yeah, it'll be interesting to go and see. I just need more to really the flat MAU growth. The flat MAU growth really has me worried, in all honesty. But they have done flat they have done flat quarter over quarter before, and some losses. But maybe we go back to chart data real quick. The growth rates year over year are still just staggering, but I don't know, it's those user numbers that got me concerned. Yeah, to go and reiterate, like I said, if you're long, hold. If not, sell in some rips and short calls against it. Do a cover call position, or at least initiate one, because I'm kind of cautious on it now. But guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'm only doing now about one finance stream per week now, just because of work schedule, and I couldn't do 2 a week. I'd be skipping them a bunch and all that stuff like that. So let me know in the comments and for the live streams, what stock I should do next for a full model build. I'm thinking Alteryx, ticker symbol AYX, maybe some others depending. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you watched throughout the entire video, make sure to go and follow me on Twitter. You can go and catch that in the description down below in the about section of Twitch, and make sure to go and join our live streams. I stream every Friday and Saturday doing Q&A with you guys for all your stock, money, finance, investing questions while playing some Nazi zombies over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.